Yeah, the 92nd minute penalty given against Matthias de Ligt settling the game. Jared Bowen doing the business. Here's a very forthright Erik Ten Hag speaking post-match.
Angry, I don't think is the right word, but what is clear, the best team didn't win today. And in football, it's not always the best team winning. Two reasons. First of all, when you don't score, and we created so many chances, we played so wonderful football. It would have been at halftime 3-0 up. And then the next thing is the refereeing. And it had a big impact on the score of this game. By first, the VAR, they should never interfere. When it's not clear and obvious, that was the instruction, that was the process. They wanted to run before the season, and they deny, they ignore their own process. So this feels really injustice and unfair.
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, Michael Oliver was the man who made the VAR call there. But in contrast to his manager, I heard Lisandro Martinez saying after the game, this wasn't down to the VAR call. This was down to us missing half a dozen gilt-edged chances. Let's take a call on this. Lewis is a Manchester United fan. He wants to have his say. Morning, Lewis.
Morning, Lewis.
Morning, boys. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. How are you today?
Well, another loss, you know. It doesn't surprise me anymore now. United can lose any game, whether at home or away. Doesn't surprise me. But Ten Hag, he's masking it. Oh, it's probably a bit harsh, the VAR call, penalty decision, maybe. But we've had loads of decisions go our way under his tenure, which he obviously didn't want to mention there. But we should have been out of sight. It should have been 3 or 4-0 up or 4-1 up at that stage. So it shouldn't have counted. We missed so many chances. We haven't got finishers. You know, we don't score enough goals. That was a problem last season, and we're doing it again this season. Look, Jeff, I heard you say last straw. We're way past last straw, or he's on thin ice, or pressure's building. He should have been sacked in the summer. Forget the FA Cup win. He can't do it in the league. We're not going to get top 4. That's already gone. We're doing useless in Europe. 3 draws so far. We're struggling to qualify for that. He should have gone. We should have got Hansi Flick. Look what he's doing with Barcelona. Or Thomas Tuchel. But now he's gone to England. So, you know, we're lumbered with him, really. I'm just sick of the bloke. He's clueless. He's a cup manager, but he can't do it in Europe or in the league, which is the bread and butter, you know. But he just moans, he whinges, he tries to talk as though, you know everything's wonderful. You know, he'll blame the referee or he'll blame injuries. He's always looking for some excuse, you know. And do you know
Lewis,
Jeff,
cheer,
can I just say,
cheer up, mate.
Can I just say, right, all I want to say is every time we win a game, all I hear from some media or pundits is, oh, they've turned the corner, or Man United are back, you know, when we beat Brentford last week. No, we haven't turned the corner because we beat Brentford, or United are back, or there's light at the end of the tunnel. Look what we've done since then. Drew with Fenerbahce, and then we lost to West Ham. We've got Chelsea next weekend. We're only a few places above the relegation zone, Jeff.
Lewis, cheer up. Thank you for the call.
Do you know what, though, Jeff? If you spend 600 million, right, and you've had, how long has he been there? 3 years?
Yeah.
Then you're 12th in the league, or whatever they are.
14th
in the league.
Yeah.
Then you've got no argument if they sack you.
Look, joining us for more is talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, big Man United fan, of course, Alex Crook. Morning, Crookie.
Morning, Alex.
Good morning. When I was booked yesterday, I was talking about Arsenal-Liverpool, so I'm here under false pretences. I've had enough of talking about Man United.
So who's right? Was that down, as Ten Hag said to the referee, or Lisandro Martinez saying that they actually had themselves to blame because they missed a shed load of chances?
Probably a combination of the two, to be honest, although Sam Matterface messaged me last night suggesting that West Ham's XG was actually higher than Manchester United. So despite the fact that United missed all those chances in the first half, West Ham had their fair share of opportunities as well. It's not a penalty for me. It certainly doesn't reach the bar for VAR intervention. But Erik Ten Hag's become the king of excuses, hasn't he? It's either injuries, it's refereeing injustice. Look at the way that he's rewritten history about that Tottenham game a few weeks ago, suggesting that the Fernandes sending off changed the course of proceedings. It didn't, because United were getting battered at that point. The stats don't lie. 8 wins now in 22 games for Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United. They're only 2 points ahead of Leicester, freshly back in the Premier League. They're only 5 points ahead of Crystal Palace, who hadn't won a game until yesterday afternoon. They've scored 8 goals in 9 Premier League matches. That's a shameful return. And they haven't won a game in Europe for more than a year, despite the fact they've played teams like Copenhagen, FC Twente and Fenerbahce. This is a football club going nowhere under this manager. And like a lot of Manchester United fans, I've tried to back him. I'm not playing down the significance of the 2 cups that he's won, but ultimately bold decisions need to be made now. I don't think the players are buying into what he wants to do. I think a lot of the fans now are starting to turn as well. And Ineos are going to have to make that big decision, because you can't make a case for Manchester United beating Chelsea at Old Trafford next weekend. I can see another very ugly afternoon.
Alex, the way I see it, I don't like hammering managers. I know how difficult it is. But if I've had 3 years and I've got like a jigsaw puzzle in front of me of a group of players, which is what he walked into, every time I sign a player, I'm just improving that jigsaw puzzle. That's what I've got 3 years to sort it out. He's had 3 years. He spent 600 million. Every player he signed should improve the team. But when I look at the list of players that he signed, I don't think they're any better.
Well, nor does he, because when he needs a result, like he did at Aston Villa a couple of weeks ago, he sticks Lisandro Martinez and Matthias de Ligt on the bench. He spent big money on Manuel Ugarte, a player that Manchester United chased all summer. He's on the bench yesterday, despite playing his best game in a United shirt in Europe in midweek. So the team selection too often leaves people puzzled. Taking off Marcus Rashford at half-time in Porto when he'd scored 1 goal and created another, dropping Rashford from the team just as he started to find his scoring boots, having persisted with him for so long when he wasn't firing. It's all very muddled. And I think the football club are muddled at this moment in time, because they had that long board meeting, didn't they? They say it wasn't specifically to discuss Ten Hag's future, but clearly that would have come up in conversation. And I'd like to know what Ineos have seen in the early weeks of the season to believe, like Ten Hag, that things are going to turn around, because I'm not seeing any evidence at all of that.
Crook, we have to go, which is a shame. They've got Leicester in the Carabao Cup. I wonder if that's his saving grace at the moment. Crook, have a good day. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Alex.
I'm taking the kids to that Leicester game. I don't know if I should ground them instead, or if this is the worst punishment.
Joe in Castleton says, I think it's cruel to keep Ten Hag as the manager. He's like a man in front of a firing squad who keep missing. 03717 223344.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.